moment. And we are going to talk about, of course, the real estate Dallas Fort Worth area and kind of what to really expect in these next week or two. Also, I know that there's so many headlines, there's so many things that are out telling you certain things, and you don't know what media, um, honestly, articles to read or what content is just like clickbait or what content is actually something that is of substance. So if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, I jump on every single Monday at 6 o'clock and I just give you the market of the moment. And so most of the counties that I cover are it is the Dallas County, Collin County, Tarrant County, Johnson County, Rockwall County, Denton County. So I'm pretty spread out. Ellis County. I don't go any farther out than that. So that is going to be really what I hone in on. Now, if anyone has like a specific area that they would like me to go in depth with, that is, I'm like more than happy to do that. I would love if you put in the comments like, hey, talk more about this. Also, I would also encourage you to follow me on all social media platforms. And the reason why is on Saturdays, I am doing a series of like neighborhoods and what it feels like to live here. And then on Tuesdays, I either do a tour or some tips. And then on Thursdays, I really talk to my sellers because I feel like there's not that much content out here really helping sellers navigate this market and how to really have the right strategic mindset behind it and the strategic plan because when you fail to plan you're preparing for failure. Okay. And so you guys already know that. So if you're new here, of course, I am Kira Ford, your real estate cheerleader, aka your favorite Dallas realtor. And I help you confidently invest in yourself through real estate because everyone should love where they live and how they live. Okay. And when I say how you live, it's like, yes, I want to help you get into a home or help you sell a home, but also how you live. Like, do you like the things around there, like your lifestyle? Because no one just buys a house just to be in the house the whole time. Some do. Some of you homebodies, y'all do that. But a lot of people buy a home and they also want to get out and, be a part of community and really be able to thrive and love their home and love their nearby areas. So, and also on Wednesdays, I usually highlight some kind of Amazon favorite or what you should try in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I've been slipping a little bit. I've been in between. I let go of one of my marketing assistant to hire a new one, and sometimes juggling all those things, guys, can be a lot. So make sure you leverage. Say that fast 3 times if you can. But no, make sure you leverage if you're able to. So all right, so let's jump into the facts of what the market of the moment is looking like. So last week, the jobs report, they thought that we were going to have about 100 and what was it, 110,000 different jobs, but it actually came in stronger. It came in at 140 jobs. So the DFW economy and just that's kind of more of like national numbers. But the economy is looking better, guys. I will say that right now the feds are kind of freezing hiring, which will be challenging for people who don't have jobs right now. So really get out here, talk to some people so that you're able to get a job and keep a job. Because if you don't have income, there's no way you could purchase a home. I mean, there's ways, but ways we want to help you like live well in your home and thrive. Also unemployment. So unemployment, they thought that we were going to be like I think I had a 4.4, but it actually was a 4.1. It was a little bit of a drop. When I say that, that means that unemployment, they thought that we were going to have more unemployment, but since we had less, that's good. That means people have jobs. But the feds are not going to like loosen up interest rates because we have people who have jobs. So why would they loosen up interest rates? Because you can afford it. And that's kind of how they're thinking. Now, when it comes to mortgage rates, purchase applications are up 16%. This is with a lot of buyers like really exploring financial options, like really creative financial options too, because I've talked to some of my lender partners. They're talking about arms now, definitely buy downs. And then they even been looking at 15-year fixes versus the 30-year fixes. And they've been seeing people being able to get way lower interest rates if you do 15 years versus the 30. So that is another strategic, creative way to be able to get into a home and be able to get a lower interest rates, because honestly, some people really care about the interest rates and they feel like, oh, I need to have a good interest rate right now. I can't refinance down the road. So if that's the case, this is a really good alternate, is that you can be in a 15-year fix versus a 30-year fix, which I feel like is another creative way. Now, all my lenders, my preferred lenders, they would be more than happy to walk you through different scenarios. I also I love my clients and the people that they refer me and all the things. However, people will set up a strategy session with me, or they'll set up a buyer consultation, a seller consultation, and then they want to talk numbers with me. Which, don't get me wrong, I know enough about the mortgage, the interest rates, and the all the different programs and options that are offered, but going granular is not necessarily what is my position. My position is more of connecting you with a lender, connecting with the inspector, connecting you with an appraiser if we want to do a pre-appraiser before we go into the market if you're selling your home. Connect you with some contractors. Connect you with the plumber. Like I got all the vendors and I have the connections, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I will be able to speak granular when it comes to all those different professions, how much those fees cost, because if you're anything like me, everything has been changing in price. Everything. So I can't speak on anyone's business but mine specifically. Remember, I'm the glue and the facilitator to help you through the process and the experience to make sure that it's enjoyable and smooth. Okay. But now that I've kind of talked about what the feds meant for last week, which was jobs, they talked about unemployment, and I also touched a little bit on mortgage rates. Once again, I'm a realtor, not a lender, not a economist. I like to think I'm an economist of choice ish, you know. But if I was having to talk to my sellers, this is what I would tell my sellers in the Dallas Fort Worth area: pricing is crucial. Okay, let me say it again. Pricing is crucial. Let me say it again for the people in the back that have their earpods in, or they're talking, or they're texting. Sellers, pricing is crucial. No, we have to, when you're hiring a local realtor, they need to know their market. They need to make sure that they're pricing your property where it is able to sell and not sit. It is so crucial to make sure that you hit the mark. And usually you would know within honestly a weekend or 2 weeks that you have either hit the mark or you've missed it. And the way that you readjust needs to happen as soon as possible. Because what happens is buyers either, say, yes, I want to go see that house, or they'll pass. And since there is so much inventory, more inventory than there has been in the last 5 years, it is so crucial that once you hit the market, you do it right. And then if you don't do it right, you readjust as fast as possible. Buyers are out here, but they want competitive deals. And you want to also think of win-win situations. Sellers, you're not going to get everything in the moon like we once were, because we are in a buyer's market / balance market. Now, don't get me wrong, in some local markets, we are very much in a seller's market still. But overall, I'm talking in just a Dallas Fort Worth bubble, we are more in a balanced and buyer's market, because we're having so much pent up inventory, and now our buyers are kind of like being more particular and picky. Now that I've talked to the sellers about how crucial it is about pricing and having real strategic plan, remember, pricing it can be strategy, not necessarily value. So make sure that, if I'm your agent, I will definitely explain that. But whoever you're using, aka you need to use me. But if you don't, make sure that they tell you the difference between strategy in value, okay? Because there is a difference. Now, let me talk to my buyers. Buyers, I love you. Lean in now. Lean in. Lean in. There's some great news. There is some great news. This is an opportunity for you guys. We have more inventory than we once were. Y'all kept crying, saying y'all wanted a market that you guys had a little bit more option. You weren't overpaying for things. You were getting more deals. Well, guess what? You have arrived in the right market. Buyers, it is more of a buyer's market now. So you do have a little bit more leverage. Now you can easily use those down payment assistant programs to get you into a home. But what I'm going to tell you is all the people who constantly complained about not being able to buy a home during COVID because they weren't ready, they had to get ready. This is the same thing. This is an opportunity. This is a short window of opportunity. And I will say the opportunity is in new construction. Now, I do think that this opportunity does open up and close throughout the year, because I know I said it at least 3 times last year. In January to like mid-February, that was a window of opportunity. Then things kind of picked back up. They weren't given as crazy incentives as they once did. And then it opened back up more towards that September to November timeframe. So it does open up, but the window of opportunity that you need to seize when it's there, you got to do it. For instance, I had a client, one of my buyer clients, we did the buyer consultation, which everyone who's thinking about purchasing a house, you need to do a buyer consultation. And the reason why is to have the right expectations. And having the right expectations will make your process so much smoother, so much more enjoyable, because you know what to expect, okay? There won't be like, oh, I have to pay for that. Oh, you didn't tell me about this. No, we went through everything, even worst case scenario, best case scenario. And if someone that you're working with is not doing that, I would reevaluate working with them. Okay. So I have a buyer. Well, I had one of my buyers that were out about a month or so ago. They're actually going to close next week. We did a buyer consultation. They knew the expectations to have in this type of market that we're in. I told them new construction is ideal. You're going to get the best bang for your buck. Let's do new construction. I kid you not. We went out, because usually on average we look at about 7 homes before they find the one to 7. You don't have to look at 7 to find the one, but it's between 1 and 7. I've had only maybe 3 to 5 people look at one home and like, this is it. It's like the first house we looked at was their house. But usually it's like 5 to 6, and I feel like we found the one. So we looked at 5 with them, and we went into the new construction, and they loved it. Like, and all closing costs were paid for. Honestly, they got a beautiful deal. All appliances. I mean, they got washer and dryer, refrigerator. Of course, stove and microwave come with a home, especially new construction, but refrigerators usually don't, and washer and dryer surely don't either. So to get all of that plus closing costs paid for, baby. So I'm very excited for them. And they also, like, they clean house. And that's the same thing with a client 2 or 3 months ago. They cleaned house too. So new construction is where it's at. They're giving the best incentives. I feel like that is who you lean into if you're really wanting to buy a new home and buy a home. So that's going to be where you're going to see it. Now, for my sellers, let me go back to you and talk to you. If you're in a new construction community and you're trying to sell a house, you really have to be strategic, because it's very challenging to sell a property in a new construction area, because you're competing against the builders, and the builders are going to do 4% BAC, which is the buyer commission. They're going to also, throw in all these concessions, and most sellers cannot compete with that. So anyone who's in a new construction area and they're selling, you have to get realistic, or you need to stay in the home and sit on it for a little longer to be able to get the amount of money that you need to net. So, and that's really it, guys. That's really the market of the moment. Leaders or repeaters. I feel like I get on here each week. Honestly, for the last 3 weeks, it's been the same exact message. Buyers, this is a window of opportunity. Sellers, make sure you price. Pricing is crucial. and investors are out here buying too. We are having more fallout rate than we've ever had. So also people who are wanting to buy, make sure you feel very good about it. Like if you actually know what you want and you can speak it, finding it should be very easy. So get real with yourself so that you can get right when we get into the market. So, anyways, guys, I trust that this has brought you value. Share this with a friend that is thinking about buying or selling or investing in real estate this year so that they have a good idea of what the local market looks like. And two, it wouldn't be right if I didn't do a shameless plug. I have multiple events coming up. So in July 30th, I am doing a sip and sell. It's a seller seminar. It's in person. Most of my seller seminars are online. I'm excited. This is my first in-person seller seminar. Yay! It's at Total Wine off of Dallas. I'll put it down in the description on YouTube. So if you're not on YouTube, head over to YouTube, make sure you subscribe, like, and share, and then I'll have the link where you're able to go in and sign up. Anyone who comes to the seller seminar, I will do a market analysis for your home, very granular. We're having an appraiser there. We're going to have a lender there. I'm in the process of finalizing the estate attorney. Hopefully, she'll be able to come. I also have a couple other just people that are there to really help you have a good idea of what to expect when selling in today's market. So if you're available, it's going to be from 12 to 1, no, 12 to 2, 12 to 2. We would love for you to come out, and it's a complimentary wine tasting right afterwards. And we're just going to pour into you. Any questions you have, no questions off limits. We want to make sure that you feel confident in making the moves when it comes to selling your house. Also, I have my client and friends and family appreciation event in August. If you're invited to that, you've already received one of my text messages. Also, my future homeowner brunch will be in September the 13th. It will be the second Saturday in September. So make sure you come out. And it is a brunch. We pour, like I have every person a part of the process. So that is a credit person, me as your realtor, a lender, we have an inspector, we have an appraiser, we have a home warranty, home insurance, a utilities person, like a divorce attorney that talks about, well, a family law attorney who talks about, cohabitation agreements. Like we have it all. So people who are not coming to my events, what are y'all doing? Y'all are missing out. Also, share the events with someone that you believe it can bring value to, because I kid you not, every time someone comes to my brunch event, I've closed at least 1 to 2 people per event. So the things we're telling you help you. They set you up. When you fail to prepare, you prepare for a failure, okay? So we help you come up with a strategic plan for you. So, anyways, guys, love you. And if you guys need anything, you know how to contact me. Make sure you smash the like button so the algorithm can push this to as many people as possible. Until next time, see you next Monday.